Where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. God has given us unlimited treasures in His Word. Every time we open it, we can discover a new treasure or admire an old one. What will we find today? Here's Carla Early with Treasure Hunt in the Word.
When we pray, we should always expect God to answer. It might not be the answer we expect, though. His answer may even disappoint us or frustrate us, especially if the answer is wait. But He does answer. I've had lots of unexpected and sometimes confusing answers from God, but He usually makes things clear in time, though not always. When Martha and Mary sent word to Jesus that their brother Lazarus was sick, they probably expected Him to either come and heal him or even heal him from afar as He'd done for others. They certainly knew He could, and knowing His love for the little family, it only made sense that He would. But when the messenger arrived and told Jesus, "Lord, behold, he whom you love is sick," Jesus said, "The sickness is not unto death, but for the glory of God, that the Son of God may be glorified through it." Now He could have saved them a lot of grief and heartache if He'd just said, "Tell them Lazarus will die, but I'll raise him from the dead." But He didn't. And by the time the messenger returned to Bethany with Jesus' words, Lazarus would have been dead. When Martha and Mary heard, "This sickness is not unto death," what would they have thought? I know what I would have thought. Jesus was wrong. The sickness did end in death. Lazarus is dead. Jesus didn't come, and it's too late. But the rest of what Jesus said gave hope. The sickness was for the glory of God, that the Son of God may be glorified through it. So I might think, maybe Jesus is on His way. He's raised people from the dead before they were buried. He'd arrived at Jairus' house right after his daughter died, and He'd interrupted a funeral for the son of the widow of Nain and raised him. So I might be looking expectantly out the window for Jesus and His band of disciples. For Jews, they believed that the soul of a person hung around the body for a day or two, until the body began to decay. Then the soul went either to heaven or hell. So when that stone was rolled over the door of Lazarus' grave, that was final. There was no chance. But if it was me, I'd have my eyes on the road looking for Jesus until that stone closed me off from my loved one. I don't know about Martha and Mary, but at that point, I might be grieving more because Jesus let me down and didn't come than mourning for my brother. But let's look at what Jesus had said. This sickness is not unto death. That's sometimes translated, this sickness will not end in death. But the Greek word means the sickness's destination isn't death. The goal isn't death. When we go somewhere, we may have several stops, but those stops aren't the true destination. So if death was one of the stops on Lazarus' journey, what was the final destination? Jesus told them, "This sickness is not unto death, but for the glory of God, that the Son of God may be glorified through it." Lazarus was dead for the glory of God, just like Jesus said the blind man a few chapters before had been blind for the glory of God. So the destination, the goal, the reason Lazarus became sick in the first place was for the glory of God, and for all the mourners who had come from all over for the week-long funeral to see Lazarus' resurrection with their own eyes and see Jesus for who He really is, God. For them to see that death does not have the final victory, God does. So in whatever trial that comes up in our life, no matter how difficult or hopeless it seems in the moment, we need to remember that God can use it for His glory. No problem or trial can have victory over the Lord. Martha and Mary didn't have Romans 8:28 to cling to during their grief, but we do. It's a great verse to memorize if you haven't already. So instead of feeling that the Lord has let us down, we can confidently quote this verse and know that God is in control. Say it with me if you know it. "And we know that all things work together for good to those who love God, to those who are the called according to His purpose.
You can contact us at treasurehuntintheword@gmail.com. We'd love to hear the treasures God has given you through His Word. You can listen to other episodes on our website, which you can find in the description below. Thank you for listening, and remember, where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.